Hello, my beautiful people. I hope that you are all doing well and are having an amazing day and amazing weekend. And also, I hope that you enjoyed your Valentine's Day yesterday. Ugh, I'm a little hot. This is a little heavy. So I hope that you enjoyed your Valentine's Day yesterday and spent it with the special people in your life. Hope you had an amazing time. So for those of you who do not know who I am, my name is Isabella, and I am an intuitive empath and Reiki master and teacher and the owner of Reiki by Isabella. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to all of the people who are new to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I feel like today is really just another continuation of what we spoke about in the last video, where a lot of us are grieving an old self, our old selves, and preparing for this new self, which is creating a lot of emotional imbalances in a lot of people, a lot of bouts of sadness and anxiety and loneliness, and as I explained in the last video, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we are grieving an old self, our old self. You know, a place where we were comfortable, a place of what we knew, what it felt like. You know, old way of being, an old way of doing. And now it's time for a lot of that to change and to shift. And that's why so many people are feeling this push, this nudge to move into something new. They feel it, they sense that something is about to happen, but then they're also feeling sad because, and not on a conscious level, they have to release that old part of who they are, so that they can continue to move forward and prepare for this new cycle. And it's scary. It's scary. The fear of the unknown is scary, not knowing what to expect. But stay in the energy of feeling amazing and excited about it, you know, because it should be an exciting time. This is a time where we can do it right. Really do it right. And we can take all of those experiences from our past and turn them around now to make them our strengths and to help form the new experiences and create the new lives. And we know what we want and what we don't want at this point, and what doesn't serve us any longer. For most of us, you know, a lot of people are still trying to figure it out, and that's okay. Everybody heals at their own pace. Everyone has their own journeys, their own time of becoming awakened, spiritually awakened. But for the ones who are spiritually awakening at this time, this video is more for you, because it is the spiritually awakened people who are beginning to go through this transformation, which is affecting them wholeheartedly, emotionally, physically, mentally, because again, things are starting to shift for us, and we're fearing that, but we're also at the same time grieving that old part of who we are. You know, it's time to let it go and begin new, you know, and look forward to all of this new stuff that we're helping the universe to co-create with and again, all those experiences that we went through is helping us create what it is that we do want. We just have to step back and out of our own way and allow it to come into fruition at the pace that it's supposed to. So in the process of us doing this, a lot of people, the collective, a lot of my clients are going through this shedding, which is causing a lot of people to be sad and confused and unsure, not knowing what to expect next, feeling it, the pull to want to make those moves and changes and know or feel that something is about to happen, but are unsure of what it is. We're not supposed to know. We're supposed to just take our experiences and start creating for ourselves the things that we would like to see in our lives. And then we need to trust that the universe is going to help us bring it all into fruition. So we have to take the baby steps to start creating. It's a time of really being creative, being really truly creative, allowing those creative juices to start flowing, because it's those creative juices that are really bringing about the confidence and helping us feel good about ourselves so that we can move forward and take those baby steps into creating what it is that we truly want to create. So yes, there's going to be a lot of sadness, and a lot of people are also feeling the effects of, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day was happy and amazing for a lot of people, but at the same time, Valentine's Day affected a lot of other people in a different way. It let them feel lonely or sad because maybe they don't have a partner in their life and felt alone because that wasn't in their lives. But it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to have a partner in our life to love, right? We have to love ourselves first anyway. And when we can love ourselves, we're going to bring that partner, the right partner, into our life. We just have to trust and believe it. But it's okay if we were feeling sad and lonely. It's normal, And I could sit here and say it's okay, but you're the one going through it. We're going through it. And it's easier said than done, right? But know that when things like that come up into our consciousness, into our awareness, feeling lonely, feeling unloved, lost, and sad, it's coming from a deeper place than what is really happening right now. It could be triggers from maybe old experiences in your life where you were made to feel that way, feel like lonely and unloved. A lot of times these things are created, these emotions are created by experiences that we've gone through, which will bring a lot of that up to the surface. And on days like Valentine's Day, where it's out there in the public and everyone is, showing their love and buying candy and flowers and all that stuff that we do on Valentine's Day, which I feel like it's just one day. We should be doing that all year round. That love should be given and be received all year round. But it's all hype. But I guess it's to recognize love, right? It's just to recognize love on this one day. I mean, we should love regardless, love ourselves more regardless, right? And bring in what it is that we're supposed to be bringing in for ourselves, that love for ourselves. When we can have that love and connection to ourselves, we're going to bring it in. We will attract it, but you got to be at a place of feeling whole, in alignment with who you are, and accepting of where you're at, and whether you're in a relationship or not, and what it is that you want in your life. What is it that you are looking for? What is it that you would like to create? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? I mean, it's really a time of just reflecting. The whole year really is about reflecting, and the beginning of this new cycle, 2020, the beginning of 2020 is really reflecting on our past and seeing what we no longer want to bring with us into this cycle. So that means, we're going to have those moments where we're going to feel lonely and sad and confused, but excited at the same time. excited, ready for what the next thing is that's supposed to come into our lives, our transformation. So again, it's a time of reflecting. It's a time of looking at all of the things in our lives, those limited beliefs, programming, and all of those things from our past that no longer serves us. Taking all of that and making it into our strengths and helping us to create what it is that we really truly want to create. So I don't want to keep repeating myself over and over and over. But I did pull some cards a little bit earlier because I didn't want this to be a really long video. And the theme for the week has been all of this, where people are feeling the sadness and people are feeling confused and people are feeling lost. And again, it's because we are shedding and grieving an old way of being, in where we were comfortable, right? Change is scary, but we're also excited and getting ready to move forward. You know, we just got to take those baby steps and start creating that and bringing it into fruition and trusting and believing that everything is going to work out in our highest and in our greatest good. So some of the stuff that cards that popped out as I was shuffling were, so let me start with the Work Your Light Oracle card. I love this deck. It's beautiful. And I'm going to read to you show you and read to you what popped out. I'm going to put my glasses on first so I can see. A lot better there, I can see. I can definitely see better. Okay, so one of the cards that popped out from the Work Your Light Oracle card deck is Trust the Niggle. Trust the Niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? So the niggle really is that feeling that we get, you know, that feeling, that pull in a certain direction, that excitement that we feel that something is about to happen. We're not quite sure what it is. It's our intuition. Basically, it's our intuition trying to talk to us, because, you know, our intuition already knows what we're supposed to be doing. We just need to learn to trust it more. You know, most people operate on ego. And ego is okay to get us to a certain point. But ego, if you stay with ego all the time, you miss a lot. And you get held back a lot. Because all it does is create a lot of confusion and doubts within ourselves and fears within ourselves. So, niggle is the truth. The niggle is that little feeling that we get. Our intuition saying, yes, this feels good. And no, that doesn't feel good. And yes, we should do this. And no, we shouldn't do that. You know, you'll feel it. It'll feel very calming if it's your intuition. It'll feel very calming. It'll feel like you're getting advice from a loved one, you know, a loved one. It's guiding you, gently guiding you in the direction that you need to go, or where you're supposed to be going. So trust the niggle. That niggling feeling, that annoying niggling feeling, that inconvenient, annoying niggling feeling. Try as you might, it's there, and it ain't going anywhere. Most people spend years ignoring their niggling feelings, throwing their best dollops of stubbornness, ego, and post-rationalization to numb them out. It's exhausting, and until you face the niggle, life just throws you more bait to awaken it. To draw your attention to the light within you that is bursting to come out. The niggle is an arrow pointing to what is standing in your way, the relationship, the conversation, the decision, the shift that needs to be made, the stone in your shoe. Often, we feel the niggling feeling in our body first. Many people think that intuition is something from the higher realms, but in fact, it is the body that is the intuitive one, working through our senses to deliver vibrational information. It takes just a moment every day to scan your body to receive the intuitive intelligence and act on it quickly. You are being called to face the niggle now. If you don't face it, the universe will throw something much bigger and more obvious in your path. And then you will likely regret that you didn't answer the niggle in the first place. I know it's scary, but you are safe. Answer the niggle now. What is your niggling feeling trying to tell you? So like I was saying, that niggle is your intuition. You know, it's yours. It's you. Intuitively, it is you telling you, okay, let's do this, you know? And at first it'll come through as like subtle, very subtle. And the people who are more connected to themselves, who are awakening, they're going to feel the niggling more so. Other people may just feel like something just keeps showing up in their life. They, you know, things keep showing up in their lives and it's just annoying the hell out of them, you know, as it was saying. But the niggle is that intuitive voice trying to guide you in the right direction. It's the truth. It's purity. It's what we're supposed to be doing. And it's very true. If we don't listen to the niggle or that intuitive voice, that little voice within ourselves, and the universe is trying to get our attention, is what it's trying to do. It's trying to get our attention, to pay attention. You know, it's kind of like, you know, because so much of the past stuff is coming up for us to heal and to release so that we can start this new cycle. There's also things from our past that we forgot about that actually were there to guide us, but intuitively at that time, we may not have caught it, or consciously, I should say, we didn't even know. Or there was things that we used to do or things that we thought about in the past that we were so passionate about, whether it's painting or, you know, building, creating, a certain passion that you had, the kind of work that you wanted to do, you know, in the past. And you thought about it at the time. But then life happened and we forget about it. The niggle was always there. That intuitive voice was always there probably throughout your entire life. But again, when life happens, we kind of forget about that intuitive niggle, that voice, that little part of us that's trying to remind us and help us to remember. Do you remember how you felt when you thought about doing this? Do you remember how you felt when you thought about doing that? Do you remember what it felt like when in your mind you knew what it is that you wanted to do as your life purpose, as your career, that just gave you so much excitement, you know, before life happened, right? Life happens because we need to learn lessons, obviously, you know, we need to go through there. But that niggle is always there. It's always there. The niggle is coming up even more now, again, more so, because it is the beginning of a new cycle. So most people are feeling this niggle. They're feeling trapped. They're feeling stuck. That little voice is saying, well, do you remember when you wanted to do this? And do you remember when you wanted to do that? Let's start doing it again. Let's start creating it again. Don't be afraid. You know, even if you start little by little, which is what you want to do anyway, and then allow it to create into what it's supposed to be. Whatever our purpose is on this journey, and as long as we follow our intuition and are in alignment with what it is that we're supposed to do, and we're connected on that level of understanding and awareness of what is going on, whatever that is, that little niggle that started way back when and is coming back here now in the present, kind of poking at you and trying to remind you, it's coming back now, little, but it's going to grow, okay? It's going to get bigger, it's going to get louder until you actually hear it, okay? And the more aware you are of this going on, especially if you're sitting there and you're questioning it, because when we're questioning certain things, like, it's because we're aware of what's going on, right? We're questioning it. It's because it wants to be known. It wants to come into fruition, you know? So we'll question, well, wow, I remember doing this. Why am I not doing this now? What's stopping me from doing this? You'll ask all kinds of questions. But again, we're asking those questions because we're aware that there's something that needs to be changed. Like when we're feeling that sadness, it's like, why am I feeling so sad? Where's this coming from? Right? And again, the niggle is that little voice that will get louder and louder and louder, especially now as there's so many people awakening, spiritually awakening, that are connecting more and more to themselves, who are recognizing these little signs, that are showing up in their lives. They're just not understanding why it's happening. So again, it's okay to ask, because the answers will show themselves if it's time for you. If you're ready. You have to be ready. You have to let go of that fear that was holding you back in the past from creating what it is that you truly desired and what you were so passionate about now. Okay? So pay attention to it. It will get louder and louder and louder. And they may throw all kinds, the universe may start throwing all kinds of things that are even bigger and more confusing because we're not listening to the little voice that's starting us, those baby steps, right? It's kind of like taking baby steps. So we're hearing the little voice saying, okay, let's do this today, right? Let's start this today. So if you take the little baby steps to start creating and bring it into what it is that you want to create into fruition, it's not going to come so hard and fast and affect you and really cause fear and mental conflict, right? If it's part of your journey, you can't run away from it. It's going to just keep showing itself in your life over and over and over in whatever way it shows up. Yeah, we can keep suppressing it. We can keep shutting it down, but it's going to keep coming up. And like I said, it's going to start as little voice, as that little niggle, that little, wow, I remember doing this. I want to start doing that again. I used to feel so good when I did that. I want to do it again. And it's because it's your soul calling out to you saying, please, let's do this. Because it makes me so happy. It makes my soul soar with joy. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's that excitement. And you will feel a sense of excitement in your gut, in your soul, in your core essence, because it's what you're supposed to be doing. It's just the fear of doing it. It's you standing in your own way. But again, if we just take the little baby steps to start creating it, it's not going to be as overwhelming, right? You do one little step, you gain confidence. You do another little step, you gain more confidence, right? And the more confidence you gain, the better you feel. And then all of a sudden, wham, here we are. We created exactly what it is that we're supposed to do that's in alignment with what our purpose is and what we are supposed to be doing. Because anything that feels good to us on a soul level, okay? Not the physical, the temporary stuff, but on a deep soul level where we feel we're being called, the core of our being is being called. It is what we are supposed to be doing, okay? When we're in a job that we hate going to every single day, we hate that job, going to that job every single day because it's not what we're supposed to be doing anymore. We've outgrown it. We've learned whatever we needed to learn from it. Okay? And this is what's happening with a lot of people. We're having that collision, right? That colliding of old and new, right? So this old job, it's not making me happy. And then all of a sudden we're getting the niggle. We're getting the little call again of things that, even if it just shows up into your awareness for a hot second or, or a minute or two, it's there. It's trying to get your attention, all right? I'm not happy here. No, here comes niggle. But do you remember when you did this? It's going back and reflecting on your passions in the back before life happened, right? And starting over again. But this time, starting right. Starting right. And starting and creating exactly what it is that you want. You take the little baby steps. And I'm telling you, when you're in alignment with yourself and you're on your your soul's purpose, your journey, the thing, what you're supposed to be doing, what it is that you're supposed to be doing here, and you start to take those baby steps to start creating, the universe is going to work with you. They're going to co-create with you. And it's going to happen. And it's going to happen, and it's going to be amazing. We just, again, have to step out of our own way, you know. And a lot of times we step in our own way because of past conditioning, you know. Limited beliefs, the things that we were taught. No, you're not supposed to be happy. If you're married, it's like, you're supposed to be the perfect wife and this perfect mother and all of these things that we've been programmed to believe over and over and over. You know, you're not, it's almost as if we're taught that we're not supposed to be happy to some extent in some people's situations, you know. Other people are directed a little bit differently, you know. And again, it all comes back to a person's experiences and the lessons that they learned. So if we've had people in our lives who have gone through experiences and learned those lessons, they're going to be our super guidance. They're going to be able to put us in the direction of where our soul is supposed to be evolving to, because they've done their own work. But if we're around people who have not really done the work, or aren't even aware that they're supposed to be doing work, you know, our soul is supposed to continue to evolve. It's supposed to evolve. We're supposed to evolve, or we're going to just stay stuck in a repetitive cycle over and over and over. And that niggle is going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming till you listen to it, right? So you have the group of people who are going to lift your spirits, who are going to put you on that path of helping you see your truth and helping you see your power, help you to see how good you are and good enough. Of course, we need to see it within ourselves. But when we get that guidance from those people who have learned lessons, you know, have gone through those experiences, have learned, they're good and understand what is truly going on. So they're the ones that are going to be able to help push us forward, you know, in understanding. They're awakened. You have people who are unawakened and they're just still stuck in their limited beliefs and religions and whatever they, you know, were programmed to believe from their past and the past before them, right? That they kept continuing to carry from generation to generation. But I find and I feel and I see, and I'm getting so many clients on this path as well, who are in this place where they're ready to make the changes that they need to make so that they can move forward. They may be a little fearful of it, but they're excited as hell. They're listening to that little niggle, that little voice inside them saying, let's do this, let's do that, you know. But I also feel this is a time of us becoming spiritually awakened and understanding where a lot of that programming, where it came from, it's not supposed to define who we are. And we are supposed to be the ones, and our children born now are supposed to be the ones who are supposed to break those old patterns, those old belief systems, the limited belief systems, all of those things, because so many children are becoming, are awakened. They're so awakened. They're old souls. They're star seeds. They're empaths. They're intuitive. They have these amazing gifts and abilities, and they are the ones, and we are the ones who are awakening, who are supposed to break patterns from old ways of being that have been carried down from generation to generation, and to stop it in its path so that we can create the new world, right? The new way of being, so that we're not stuck in the old ways and all of that mental conflict that was created through our experiences, through people, places, and things that we've gone through in our experiences that have programmed us, you know, to believe these things, you know, that aren't real. They're not real. Again, it's their experiences that they've never learned, lessons that they've never learned, or experiences from past ancestors and so forth that have never been cleared or healed or released, or they've never become awakened. So it's carried down from generation to generation. But you'll know when you get to that place, because things are going to seem different when you get to that place of feeling spiritually awakened, because you're going to start to question all of that stuff. What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why do I feel stuck? Why does this not feel good to me anymore? This feels good to me. What do I need to do to get here from there? You know, so it's like this. It's a mental conflict that a lot of people are going through, but it's good. You're supposed to see this and recognize it so that you can make those changes that you need to make moving forward, right? So I really went into a lot of detail there. Went on and on. We don't want to make this a long video. All right, so the other card that came up and popped up from Spirit is, and this goes hand in hand with what we're talking about as well, unbound. Let me get my glasses before I do that. I need to see. Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. See? They come from way, 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 way back. But we're the spiritual awakened ones now that are going to stop that and change that and create the new. The new. It is time to release old soul stories that have been played out in your life. They are coming up to be healed. Absolutely. Do you see? They're coming up. This new cycle is all about healing all of that stuff. That half of it's not even ours. There has never been a safer time to clear these patterns than right now. Did I just say that? Than right now. Right? That's why it's happening. That's why we're going through all of these shifts and changes within ourselves. It's why we're feeling confused and, you know, and sad and lonely. And again, because we're trying to end that old cycle, those old soul patterns have been carried down. So it is a death of an old way of being, which is creating a lot of this emotional upheavaling in a lot of people, the sadness, the loneliness, because we're grieving. We're not just grieving us, but we're grieving the past, right? The past and the past and the past, ancestors and so forth, right? We're grieving all of their stuff because we're supposed to now, at this point, end it so it doesn't repeat itself again. Right? Take a look at patterns in your life that you are ready to release. Ancient vows and contracts that your soul made that have an expiry date. It could be a vow of silence or chastity or poverty. It is a time to unwind from them. This is the life in which you free yourself from trauma of lives past. What old ways of being have an expiry date? When you name them, you claim them, and they stop holding power over you. When acknowledging these old patterns, it is also important to acknowledge how they have served you up until now. For example, a soul pattern of playing small, caused by a soul fear of being seen or sharing your voice, would have served you by keeping you safe. In order to grow, you now need to soften by receiving and calling in support. It is time to unbind from the old ways of being that are no longer sustainable. Do you see? Freaking amazing. Do you see? It's so true. It's so true, you know? This is a time to set ourselves free from that bondage, you know, from past soul lives, past ancestral lives that we've carried down from generation to generation. You know, past lives that we've had that kept us victims, whether we were not allowed to speak or be beheaded or not allowed to be spiritual or intuitive, be burnt at the stake, right? So things that kept us really bonded and stuck from the past. This is a time when we're supposed to really set that all free. We're supposed to set it free now because we're supposed to create new. It's supposed to be a new cycle. So we need to create it new so that we can end that cycle, those patterns, those behaviors, and not carry it moving forward. We create a new world. We're creating a new way of being. It's amazing. It's exciting. But we have to stand out of our own way. And we have to recognize and be aware of what's truly happening so that we can step back and step away from it all. Right? So freaking amazing. This is your time. This is your time to no longer allow old ways of being to hold you prisoner, because that's what it feels like when we get to a place where we're stuck and we can't move forward. We feel like a prisoner. We feel like there's got to be more to life than this. Well, guess what? There is. You just have to recognize it. You have to step out of your own way. And you need to acknowledge all of those experiences and understand where everything came from. You know, where everything was coming from. You know, it wasn't coming from you. It was created in you, programmed in you because of the way they were programmed and so forth and so on, right? The past is the past. We need to let go of that. We need to go through our experiences and learn our lessons so we can continue to allow our souls to evolve to the point of where they're supposed to evolve, right? And some people will come back again and repeat a lot of things. But me, I know this is my last life, so I really have to get it right, don't I? I guess that's why I'm here, spreading awareness, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right. The other card that I shuffled and that came up, the Whispers of Healing. This is from the Whispers of Healing guidebook. Mental repetition. Mental repetition. Right? So let me get my glasses on so I can read to you what this oracle message is telling you. All right, my darlings. My darlings. Mental repetition. Mental repetition can improve your attitude and help you feel your best. This card suggests you are holding on to limited beliefs. Yeah, you really are. It is time to embrace a healthier philosophy about your life. Holding yourself to impossibly high expectations, fearing failure, or asserting an inability to control your emotions are examples of limiting beliefs. You may have latched on to some unhealthy beliefs or thought patterns. Just like physical fitness training, mental healing takes repetition and practice. By repeating positive and uplifting thoughts, you can shift away from limiting, and unhealthy beliefs. As you further your mental well-being, you become more focused, confident, composed, and prepared for the unexpected. You can develop coping mechanisms for just about any occurrence. Mother Nature has tree branches covered in Spanish moss, and cobwebs grow from her head. Spanish moss represents protection. Cobwebs indicate issues in your life that feel overwhelming. You may feel that it is pointless to try to deal with them. Mother Nature looks out over a somewhat barren landscape. Yes, this does not need to be the situation. This is an ideal time to create a shift. It is time to clear out the cobwebs in your mind. Compose a powerful statement that you can repeat whenever necessary. Make sure your affirmation is easy for you to remember. If you are working on eating better, you might choose a phrase like, I feel great when I eat healthy foods. Create a phrase that will best help you replace an outdated belief with something life-changing and positive. This is the perfect time for you to do so. There you go, right? You have to make the changes. You have to change the way that you think about things, the way you feel about things, especially things that are not helping you move forward, right? Things that are just keeping you stuck. And it does really come from the things that we tell ourselves, right? If we tell ourselves negative things about things and of things that we want to do We're not good enough to do that. Why are we going to do that? We're not good enough. We're not going to get hired. We're not with that. If I do that, I'm going to look, it's going to be terrible, right? You're telling yourself all these negative things. So there, in that instance, what you're doing is creating limited beliefs again, right? By your thoughts. Our thoughts really do create our realities. You know, if we start to learn how to retrain our brain into, and it's easier said than done, it's difficult to do, but repeating it and doing it over and over and over will get you to a point where you will just do it naturally. It'll just become part of your daily routine. So when you become aware that you're saying negative things about yourself or you're holding yourself back, look at it and change it into something positive. So if you're having a fear about a change, instead of being fearful and telling yourself fearful things about it, oh, it's not going to work, I'm not going to even waste my time. Again, that's limited beliefs. You're creating this fear. False experiences appearing real, right? We're creating it by our thoughts. But instead say something like, I love the way I feel when I do this. And even if it doesn't come out as a masterpiece, it still feels amazing. And I did it, right? And that's where we develop the confidence. And the more confidence that we develop, you know, in every little step and every little change that we make, the confidence gains and grows bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when we get that confidence, we're moving forward. We're kind of like shedding that fear now of what we thought. You know, the fear is what holds us back. But if you ever stop to think about the times when you were so fearful about doing something, right? But finally just said, okay, I'm just going to do it. When you finally did it, didn't it feel good? Didn't you feel proud of yourself? That you did it? That's it. It's just getting past that fear and just doing it, right? Doing it without any expectations. Just knowing that it is what you're supposed to be doing. That feels good to you. That's in alignment with you. And it feels great and amazing. Yet do it. And there your confidence is going to come in. You're going to grow. That confidence is going to grow. And you're going to want to do more and more and more. Each time your confidence grows, something new happens. You put a little bit more effort into something else. And you continue to do it. You know? But it's really about the thoughts that we create in our mind. Because again, our thoughts do create our realities. You know? Our subconscious doesn't know the difference between right or wrong. It only knows what you tell it. So if you're telling your subconscious mind that you're no good and you're not good enough and all of these negative things about yourself, that is what you are going to believe. So this is where we need to retrain our brain, right? If we start to talk about ourselves in a positive way, you know, then we're telling our subconscious positive things. So now we start to believe the positive things. So again, it's all about reprogramming, retraining, you know, changing all of these limited beliefs and things that we've gone through and making them our strengths, you know, and our truths, and being in connection with ourselves and trusting the universe, our guidance, you know, God, whoever you believe in, that they're there and they have our back and they're going to help us and help us work through it. We just have to trust and believe, and it will happen. It really, truly will. So that is it, my darlings, my darlings. Again, as I was saying earlier, we're all going through this. You know, we're awakening. We're awakening. So things are just becoming more, coming to the surface a lot more for us. So as much as it feels overwhelming for us and sad, and we feel lonely, no, it's just because we are grieving an old way of being. You know, an old way of being that has been that way from centuries and times and past lives and over and over and over and over, right? We're getting ready to change it, and that's the scary part of it. That's what makes people question and makes them fear changing it, because it's just been embedded in our brains and our cell memory over and over and over, and we let all of our existing experiences define us, you know, whatever way that look like. Define yourself, darling. create your world. Be you. Be true to you. You know, it's about you. This journey is about you. It's not about anybody else. You just need to trust yourself and believe in yourself enough to know that you deserve the very best. One step at a time. One step at a time. That's all it takes. Don't keep ignoring those niggles, intuitive, you know, feelings, because they keep coming up, and they're going to keep coming up because the universe is trying to get your attention. It's trying to tell you, come on. Do you see? We're going to keep showing you this until you do it. You're supposed to do it. It's what's in alignment with you. It's part of your purpose. It's part of your evolution of your soul. It's all part of it. And that's why it keeps coming up over and over and over, right? So don't fear it. Stand out of your own way. It's getting awfully hot in here. It's getting really, I'm starting to sweat. It's getting hot in here. All right, so I want to leave you with, and actually two affirmations popped out. So I guess I'm going to just read them both to you. I guess Spirit wants you to hear them both. Like a tree, I am deeply rooted, strong and confident. I branch out on my comfort zone. I branch out of my comfort zone. Do you see? Oh my goodness, that goes so with what we're talking about today, right? It's really about getting out of our comfort zone. You know what? On my walk in nature, because I love to be out in the park walking, I did come across, and if I could figure out how to post it on here, I will. I'm still learning all this stuff. During my walk, and this kind of like really relates to, it resonates with me because of what I felt yesterday. As I was walking on my trail, my normal trail that I usually take in the park, that I do my walking and connect and ground, there was this tree that was standing in the middle of all of this water, all by itself, just standing in the water by itself with all of these other trees around it, but all this water around it. And here's this one tree that was standing in the center. It drew my, it got my attention, and I looked at it, and the first thing I thought of was, wow, look at the strength, the power of that tree standing all by itself in all of this water with all of this trees around it, all by itself. That's your strength. That's your power shining bright. It felt so empowering to see it. It really did catch my attention. It goes to show you, only you, can stand in your power, right? Only you can show your strengths, be in your truth, brighten your light. You know, don't allow it to be dimmed. Shine it, shine that light. But yeah, so that card, like a tree, I am deeply rooted, strong and confident. I branch out of my comfort zone. Little baby steps will take you out of your comfort zone. You know, sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone to move forward. And listen, I do the same stuff. I get comfortable sometimes too, and it's hard to make those changes, but I'm aware of it, you know, and I will take the little steps to try and change it. But sometimes that fear can be overwhelming, and I know in the past me really let that fear hold me back from many things in my life. You know, I've gone through a lot of things and held myself back from shining my light, you know, because of circumstances, because of people, you know, because I didn't feel I was good enough. And I kept myself stuck in cycles that, of course, kept repeating themselves over and over and over because I never let myself heal them or release them. You know, and this stems back from childhood on, moving forward. But when you get to this place of being spiritually awake and you really recognize that, you're very aware of where it's coming from. And when you become aware and you start to acknowledge it, that is when it loses its power over you, right? When you can start acknowledging those things, it does diminish the power that it has over you that keeps you stuck and in this place, right? It empowers you instead of taking that power away from you, right? So acknowledging is so important. And those are the things that most people don't want to do. They don't want to acknowledge. It's just like when we get a million, trillion, thousand thoughts in our mind. It's just acknowledging those thoughts. Because a lot of times all they want to do is be acknowledged. As crazy as that might sound, they want to be acknowledged. Your thoughts want to be acknowledged. So I acknowledge you. Thank you for sharing. Next, and move and keep it moving, right? So this is the other card that popped out. Another affirmation that I want to leave with you. I trust, I believe, therefore I succeed. Do you see? Wow, Spirit has spoken. All of this goes together. All of it. It's true. When we trust and we believe, we succeed. We really do. So, don't let none of this stuff stop you from moving forward. Don't let it stop you. Yeah, if it temporarily puts you in a place for a little bit, it's okay. Just don't stay there, okay? Acknowledge it. Acknowledge where it's coming from. And start paying attention to your niggles and your intuitive nudges that are coming at you. Things and signs and things that are coming at you of stuff that you might have forgot about, that you did in the past, that life happens and you forgot about. Pay attention. It's coming back up again because it's in alignment with you. All right? And it's part of what you're supposed to do. So do it. And when we start doing those things that are in alignment with us, we are going to build that confidence. Right? We're going to start to trust more. We're going to start to believe more because everything is kind of working out. Okay? So just trust, believe, pay attention to your niggles and your intuition, and create the life that you want. Be true to you. Okay, people. I love you all. Have an amazing day, and I will see you soon. Oh, so if you want to reach out to me, you can send a message to Reiki by Isabella at gmail.com. If you would like to see the services that I offer, you can visit my website, isabella-reiki.com. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, Reiki by Isabella. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing day and days to come. Love you all.